Hi! There has been so much space news that happened last week. We tried our best to cover it all from all the major space news that happened all around the world. As we are getting closer towards testing Booster 4 and Starship or Raptor engines, SpaceX CEO Elon Musk says that the plan is to not only cryoproof the first flight-worthy Super Heavy, but to static fire the booster and shakedown Starship brand new orbital launch complex as early as this week. A lot of work needed to be finished and work it smoothly. For an orbital launch pad cryoproof and static fire may be possible just in a week or less from now. But Musk's response nevertheless provides invaluable context for SpaceX's near-term plans and confirms that Super Heavy Booster 4 is ready for intriguing testing. One of the SpaceX's oldest rockets launched on a historic 10th flight, carrying the first check of Starlink satellites into space in more than 2 months before sticking a landing at sea to cap the successful mission. Previously flown Falcon 9 rocket blasted off from Space Launch Complex at Vandenberg Space Force Station at 11:55 p.m. ADT. It also marked a record 10th flight for this particular first-stage booster. SpaceX Starlink satellite broadband service will emerge from beta in October, CEO Elon Musk said in his tweet a few days before. Musk provided an answer next month in response to a Twitter user who asked when the Starlink will come out of beta. SpaceX launched 4 private astronauts to space on Wednesday, kicking off the first ever crewed mission to orbit without any professional astronauts on board. SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket lifted off on time 8 p.m. ET from company's 13A launch pad at NASA Kennedy Space Center. Soaring from Florida's east coast under clear night sky, inside the capsules are the billionaire entrepreneur Jared Isaacman and 3 others he handpicked and paid for the ride with him. The crew was buckled inside the SpaceX Crew Dragon Resilience capsule at the top of the rocket, reusing the spacecraft that sent 4 NASA astronauts to the International Space Station. But for Inspiration4, the capsule won't dock to the space station. It's poised to spend roughly 3 days orbiting Earth at a higher altitude, some 360 miles and 575 kilometers above the ground, the fastest human spaceflight since the last NASA Space Shuttle mission to repair the Hubble telescope in 2009. Roughly 9 minutes after the liftoff, Falcon 9's first-stage booster returned to Earth for landing on the barrage in the Atlantic Ocean. Minutes later, the Crew Dragon capsule separated from the rocket's second stage as it was leaving Earth's atmosphere, sending the Inspiration4 crew further towards the orbit. While they are in the orbit, they intend to do small research and experiment on the human bodies and analyze on the travel. SpaceX also had a live webcast of the crew speaking from orbit about all of this. As of this video posting, SpaceX Inspiration4 crew would have splashed down into the Earth and landed on the sea, and the crew would have recovered by SpaceX too. NASA is moving ahead with plans to bring competition into the development of the landers for its Artemis moon program. This week, the space agency said it had selected 5 US companies to conduct additional work towards refining lunar lander concept to take astronauts down to the moon's surface later this decade. Combined value of the fixed price was $146 million, and work is to be completed during the next 15 months. The winning companies are the Blue Origin Federation of Kent, Washington, Dynetics of Hudsonville, Alabama, Lockheed Martin of Linton, Colorado, Northrop Grumman of Dulles, Virginia, SpaceX of Hartford, California. According to NASA, each of these companies will further develop lander design concepts and evaluate the lander's performance, design, mission, assurance requirements, and more. The companies will also mitigate lunar lander risks by conducting critical component tests and advancing the maturity of key technologies. There's still much more news to cover this week. For now, we leave this with this. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.